Tonight, we're going to learn about the decorations and Pesukim of Berachot that our Hachamim used to decorate the Ketubot with, and different halachic issues that could come up, and the understanding of what they do. So, it is known that in many of the Ketubot in Morocco, as well as in other countries, they would write Pesukim Beracha, Pesukim of blessings for the couple. Usually starts like this: Besiman Atava, Ubemazlayeya, Yaya, Ubenachsha Me'adya. We spoke about Nachsha, why there is no problem of Isur Nichush, of superstition. Now you have to see in the previous Shurim. But in the Pesukim it also says, Matza Isha Matzatov, V'yafek Ratzon Me'adonai, תן לך את האישה הזאת, הבא אל ביתך, כרחל וכלאה, אשר בנו שתם את בית ישראל, וקרשם בבית לחם, אשר וקרשם בבית לחם, ויביתך כבית פרץ, אשר ילדה תמר יהודה, מן הזרע אשר ייתן אדוני לך מן הנערה הזאת, יברכך אדוני וישמרך, יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך, שא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום, ושמו את שבי על בני ישראל ויברכם. All of this is written in a lot of the Ketubot. I have in front of me the Ketubah of Rabbi Yitzchak ben Walid, whose Askara is coming up on Tet Adar. And all of these Pesukim that I just read are written over there in different design, beautiful design, a beautiful Moroccan design, as well as the Pesukim ben Porat Yosef, ben Porat Ala'ain, Ure Banim Levanecha, Matza Isha Matzatov, Ve'afek Ratzon, Yikim Korcha Baruch, Ya'alat Chen, Be'avatat Ish Kitamim, Benecha Keshti Yezetim, Kehen Yevorach. All these Pesukim are written. Okay, why am I mentioning all these Pesukim? Because there's an inherent issue over here. Number one is that one is not supposed to write Pesukim nowadays without writing the whole Sefer. So Gemara in Masechet Gitin, in Daf Samech, that discusses Megillah Hatumat Nitna, is the Megillah was given, in other words, the Torah was given as a Sefer Chatum, in other words, to write it fully. And there's a prohibition in writing just Pesukim on their own. The Shulchan Aruch is posek. Now, the halacha is indeed, the Shulchan Aruch is posek, lo yichtov megillah bifnei atzma, ve'en kodvim megillah latinok litlamed ba, and you can't even write a megillah for a child to learn from. That is the opinion of the Rambam, that the Rambam writes this way. There are opinions based on the Rif and other Rishonim, that because of the pasuk et la'asod la'Hashem afilu toratecha, that there are sometimes, in order for limud Torah, we permit such things. We permit pesukim to be written. Shulchan Aruch wasn't posek this way, but the Shach, the Taz, the Drisha, and others, they all write that since nowadays, in order to study Torah, we'd allow one to write pesukim. That should be allowed as well. Now, the Shelot Utshuvot, Tashbet, of Shimon ben Semach, who lived right before Maran, he was one of the Gdolei Algeria. He writes specifically that in the Ketubot you have to make sure that you wouldn't write Pesukim. And he writes, but if you're going to write, he writes this in the name of the Ramban, that if you write the Pesukim not in the Ktav Ashurit, not in a Ktav that's kosher for a Sefer Torah, then we're going to allow, you don't have to do sirtut, you don't have to do lines, which we might speak about tonight. You're allowed to write Pesukim. In other words, in our own handwriting, there's no problem of writing the Pesukim. But if you want to write them in proper Ktav, you're not allowed to write Pesukim on your own. So if we would write a Ketubah that way, that would be not a problem. The issue is that you see this Ketubah that I have in front of me, Rabbi Yitzchak ben Walid, and others, not the only one, that is written in the Ktav Ashurit, it's written in proper writing, and you're writing full Pesukim. How is that permitted? The truth is, Maran Rav Ovadia Yosef has a teshuvah about this in Yabia Omer, Chelek Tet, Yoredei Siman Chav Gimel, and he discusses a fascinating question that it has become the style nowadays, that a lot of people have adopted a wonderful segula of Pitom HaKetoret, reading Pitom HaKetoret from a klaf. That means the parasha of the Ketoret from a klaf. Why? Because Rav Chaim ben Falaji writes, one who reads this every day is going to have very good parnasa, and also from the Seder Hayom. Also, it's written a tremendous segula that somebody reads this, muftach lo parnasato. So people adopted this, and they spend money in order to get the Pitum HaKetoret written on a klaf. Says Rav Avadia, how are you allowed to write Pesukim, a parasha b'fnei? It's not a full, you're not writing the whole sefer. How can you only write a little bit of a parasha? So he comes out that according to Maran, one is not allowed as a sofer to write Pitom HaKetoret. If you want to buy one from a sofer whoever he wrote it, bivakasha. But if a sofer comes to ask him, he tells him it's asur. Now he's not saying you shouldn't adopt this segula. You want to, fine. Buy it from a sofer who relies on the Rif and on the other opinions. Or for Sofer Ashkenazi also follows these opinions, but not according to him. Now, even though it seems to be that Rav Ovadia, he is posek this way, you see that many Sofrim, even Sfaradi Sofrim, they write Pitom HaKetoret. The Ginat Varadim, Rabbi Avram HaLevi, one of the great Geonim from Mitzrayim, in Klal Bet, Siman Chav Zayin, is discussing different Pesukim that are written on the parochet, that are written on the outside parochet and the mapot Sefer Torah, and he wants to say it's permitted because it says in the Gemara in the end of Yevamot that people used to write Pesukim in the Get Chalitza because you're only writing it as a Sipur Dvarim, you're only writing it as a bracha. So he wants to say these so he wants to say that any time where there's going to be a tzorech, you want to write it in order to make the Get Chalitza more readable, more understood with the Pesukim. So there's a tzorech. So for a tzorech you're allowed. But then he says, okay, but by regular mapot, what is there a tzorech of putting Pesukim? But maybe you could be miyashev the minhag that by a ketubah there is a tzorech of writing the pesukim because it's a bracha, and you want to write a bracha, a siman tov, as we found Rav Chaim Palaji writes that a ketubah you have to make sure that it shouldn't be written with a pen of barzel, steel, because barzel is not a good siman because it's like a knife. So le siman tava. So like a ketubah has a concept of siman tava. So it could be that's why you should the Chachmei Amaraf permitted it. The truth is, the Tashbetz writes that he didn't allow Pesukim to be written. He would only allow different Charuzim. But you see that we didn't adopt that minhag. Well, you see that we didn't adopt that minhag because we permitted all the Pesukim being written. So I think that it's quite obvious that we were posek like the Rif and like the Drisha and all those poskim that we see that they allowed Pitom HaKetoret to be written. Rav Chaim Palaji doesn't tell the Sofrim it's forbidden for them to write the Pitom HaKetoret. It seems to be that the overwhelming Sephardic minhag was to write Pesukim. It must be that the minhag was not like the Shulchan Aruch. That's one point to say on the Ketubah, how they wrote the Pesukim. The other point, which is a difficult point as well, is the shtarot. A lot of the shtar ketubah in the pesukim they had the name of Hashem. They had the Shem Hashem, and this is difficult as well because there's a Gemara in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, Daf Yud Chet Amud Bet, that when the kingdom of Hashmonai was strong, they made a special takana that they would mention the name of Hashem in shtarot, in documents. And then, when the Hachamim heard about this, they said, "What's going to happen? You're going to pay the shtar. The guy's going to rip up the shtar. He's going to throw it in the garbage. In Mutal ba'ashpa." So they said, "We were mevatel this minhag of putting the Shem Hashem in the shtar." And the day that they were mevatel this minhag, we made it a Yom Tov. Over here as well, the Tashbet and Chelek Gimel Siman Shin Aleph writes in Nisacha Ketubah that some people say B'Shem Hashem El Olam, and this they get it from the Yishmaelim. They start the Ketubah in the name of Hashem El Olam. So this is against the Gemara, because the Gemara tells us you're not supposed to write the name of Hashem in a document because then it might get thrown out. So I saw in the Sefer Mishpat HaKetubah, a very big Talmid Chacham, Rabbi Eliyahu Bar Shalom, he has 8 volumes on Ketubah, and in his first volume, in Siman Kuf Daf Kuf Petet, he says he found a Ketubah in Morocco that seems to be from Ketubah, from Gedolei Ador, and there it's written the Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei. He doesn't understand how it's written in a star, Yud Kei Vav Kei. And not only that, I can add on, and there's also this Ketubah that I have in front of me, Yitzchak ben Walid, his own Ketubah, his own wedding. It's written also Shem Hashem. So how could that be? And there's many other Ketubot that way also. How could that be? So therefore, it could be, like what you're saying, that what were they worried? That maybe the shtar is going to be found in the garbage. The Ketubot, we see that they invested a lot of time. They invested a lot of energy in all the different types of design and all of the different types of artistics in it, and all of you should see. I have a collection of over 300 ketubot, Moroccan ketubot. A lot of them are found on a archived document in a website called JNUL.com. And it has all the different cities. I don't know if it's .com or .something. JNUL, Jewish National something, I forget. And over there they have a lot of, and in Morocco, you click on Morocco, there's like tons of ketubah, there's beautiful designs, artistic designs. And not only that, if chas v'shalom, the ketubah, they would have to collect from the ketubah. If it was a divorce or the lady was an almanah, it would be through the bet din. So the bet din made sure not to throw the star away. So you can't say it's just like when the Gemara said Shem Hashem, they were talking about a regular star, a piece of paper you wrote to your friend, I'm chayav $200. But an official ketubah that they put in so much work and so much artistic energy in it, that they weren't worried about writing Shem Hashem because they knew that it's never going to come lidei zilzul. And the third problem is that there is a halacha that anytime you write Pesukim, you have to have sirtut. Sirtut means you have to have lines drawn. So over here too as well, how could they do that when there's no lines? On this we can answer according to Tosfot in Masechet Gitin and Masechet Yevamot, say in Masechet Sotah, Daf Yud Zayin, that they say like this. Rav Eliyahu Tzarfati writes like this: "Delo kadvinan leshum pasuk ela le'amira be'alma lifros b'shalom." If you write something as a saying in order to say shalom, or ledaber b'lashon tzach, or to speak in a clear lashon. Aval keshikotev mevi oto leshim pisuk yagam naser. But when you're writing a pasuk in the name of a pasuk, it's forbidden. Now let me ask you something. When you're writing in the ketubah these psukim, are you writing it Shem Pisuk, the Shem learning, or you're giving a bracha? You're giving a bracha. So it's like you're writing a letter to your friend, you're writing a bracha. I saw in the Sefer Mishpat HaKetubah that says not that way. He says, no, you're writing in the Shem Pisuk. I don't think that's true. I think that when you're writing on the Ketubah, the purpose was a bracha, not to learn from the Pesukim, in order to give the bracha. So it's like the Shem Amirat, Lifros Shalom Lechavero, and whenever, and Tosfot says, whenever you are writing the Pasuk in a way of giving shalom to your friend, that doesn't require sirtut. And that's why also the Moroccan, the Ketubot, were able to have the Pesukim, were now written sirtut. So as the conclusion, the reason we have Ketubot, a lot of beautiful Ketubot from Gedolei Ador, that we said there were 3 problems. Number 1, how could they write Pesukim? You can't write a Pasuk writing the whole parasha, according to Maran. That we said it's not a problem because it seems to be that the overwhelming minhag of the Sofrim that they write Pitom HaKetoret, etc., is that they don't worry about that. Is that they rely on the Rif and other Rishonim like the Shachtas and others that's permitted. A lot of Gedolei Sfarad were posek this way. Then because the Rif says Et Lasot Hashem Afiru Toratecha, they permitted it, and the Shach says that's what we rely on. The second question we said, how do they write Shem Hashem in a shtar? Alright, we're worried that a shtar is going to be thrown out. We said that's a regular shtar. By Ketubah, they invest a lot of energy, and therefore they are able to put Shem Hashem. It's not a problem. Right, but even if it comes to divorce, at least you're not going to throw the star in the garbage. The bedin's going to take care of it. And number three, we said, why is there no sirtut? Why is there no lines under the ketubah? And that we mentioned that since it's written as a bracha, it's like sipur be'alma that doesn't need sirtut.